Hello YouTube, in this video I'm going to be showing you some of the transport items in the Final Earth 2 and how to use them, because a couple of them, well actually specifically train stations, took me a minute to figure out how to use them, specifically because of the functions of elevators, but I'll get into that later in the video. Alright, so the first one I'm going to talk about are teleporters, because they are like the simplest to use, well, they're the simplest to understand, and they're relatively cheap. Takes 4 wood, 100 stone, 150 machine parts, and 15 computer chips to build one. And usually this will be 20 it costs 20 knowledge to operate it per day, but I have some upgrades that makes it not as much, so it can actually go down to as little as 9 per day. So it would be the 20 if I was on the other world that I had the intro to this video on, but that world just wasn't working, so I moved over to my non-creative world. So this is going to be a little bit laggy, because I have quite a lot of people. Anyway, so people aren't going to come up here just because we need to build some jobs for people to come to. So I'm going to place down a ton of rocket fuel places. Yes, see, this is really laggy. And now if we pull out the Commute Explorer and we click this, we can see that these people, that this one guy that we're looking at, lives all the way down here. He goes into this elevator, which we'll cover later, over here into a teleporter, which brings him to this otherwise inaccessible island, where he works. So yeah, that's pretty simple. That's how teleporters work. But now I'll get into elevators, which are a little bit more complicated right now. Alright, so now in this, so here, I want people to work up here. So what I'll do is I'll put an elevator, like this. Put one maybe here and here. But as you can see, nobody has taken the job yet, because this isn't actually acceptable. There has to be buildings in between the elevators. So if I wanted these elevators to work, I'd destroy the elevators and the platform, and I'm going to put I shouldn't have destroyed the elevator at the bottom, so we'll have the elevator that we want people to go through, and then we'll have buildings in between the elevators, like this. And then at the top of here, like this, we'll have an elevator. So now, as soon as we do that, people take the job, because there's elevators in between there's buildings in between the elevators, which makes it a valid elevator. So now, if we wait for people to go up there, see, if we click here, people use the elevator. So people, like we said, this guy lives here. He comes over here, down the elevator, instantly comes over here to the teleporter, teleports here, then he goes to the elevator and teleports up here. Elevators allow instant vertical travel for no research costs, as long as there are buildings in between them. For example, over here, I tried to have an elevator right here, and then just put an elevator right here where this teleporter is, but it didn't work because there weren't buildings. Like, all of the space wasn't filled with buildings. Every single slot in between the two elevators has to be filled with buildings. So that's just something to watch out for when you're building with elevators. So the next one we'll do is train stations. Alright, so I've just built another row of rocket fuel factories, and again, there's no way to access these yet. So what we're going to do is build a train station. Here, here. So, as you can see, these train stations are not connected to each other, only to themselves. And the way we fix that is by putting buildings in between it. So it can be any buildings. If you put high-speed rails, the trains will go faster where you have the high-speed rails, or you could just put more jobs. I just use a ton of train stations because why not? But I think I might have, yeah, right here. I have a train station here and a train station here, and it takes people from here to here and back. But there aren't any train stations in between because it goes through these buildings. But a lot of times I just have the train stations like this, so I can have like an array of jobs. Alright, so basically, so I just pretty much explained everything. If I wanted these to connect, I could just place any building. I could just place anything, so even these painted blocks, if I put these in between here like this, as you can see, they are now connected. They go to each other. Or if you don't have any jobs to put there, don't put just like random stuff, because there are the high-speed rails. This is getting really laggy. That you can put there, and the trains go faster there. Makes trains go fast. Very good. Yeah, that's how train stations work. They're kind of like bridges, but not, because, yeah, these are faster and can go for an unlimited amount of time, or blocks. The wooden bridge and the normal bridge can only go 3 spaces, and then the reinforced bridge and the park bridge can only go up to 7 spaces. So, yeah, they're better, they're faster, they can go for an infinite amount of time, but rockets and spaceships can't pass through them. That's something that you might want to watch out for. And I'm just gonna say it, stations cannot connect to each other through bridges. So wooden bridge doesn't work, normal bridge doesn't work, reinforced bridge doesn't work, and park bridge doesn't work. So yeah, bridges or train stations cannot send trains through bridges. So like pretty much anything but bridges and rooftop structures, like structures like this, they can't go through those because like it's not an entire block. So yeah, things like that I don't think would work. And yeah, that's how train stations work. And again, bridges work the same way. If I had some jobs over here, rocket fuel factory, I could just place down a couple bridges. Oh, well, since this is only 3 blocks apart, I can have that. And yeah, that's transportation. This is all the transportation in the game. I will go over spaceship tunnels and indoor landing pads. So basically, these landing pads, you can't place anything on top of them, because the spaceship needs to go out. But with these indoor landing pads, a spaceship, you can build on top of this. Like, if I wanted to, I could build a house right here on top of it, and the spaceship would still work normally. I can't build on top of a normal one because, I mean, it'd just be floating there. And then the spaceship tunnels right here, same thing, allows spaceships to fly through blocks. So like if spaceships needed to get through here but I wanted to build, I would just build some spaceship tunnels like that, and so the spaceships can go through those, and I can still build on top of them. So that's how things, so that's bridges, UFOs, and what else did we do? Train stations. Alright, that's how the spaceships, elevators, bridges, train stations, and teleporters all work in the Final Earth 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this, or I hope everybody enjoyed this video. Bye.